When will this bullshit ever end? I'm gonna try to get into some better news for you people out there that need it. So yes, some Duke news. They are projected to be the #1 overall seed when March Madness starts next year in 2020, which I really don't like because they're putting so much pressure on these guys. It's just crazy, but a lot of these guys are going to surprise a lot of people in my opinion. Then Zion Williamson, they're saying his true contract could be the richest ever when he signed with Jordan Brand. Just have to wait and see. I know he has a pending investigation or some type of legal thing going on in the courts where I think somebody was he owes some people money or something like that. So pretty sure they're going to wait to see how much total value his stuff has after that happens. Then JJ Redick, an ex-Duke player who's now with the New Orleans Pelicans, made a comment saying that his team is like the Duke South now, and there's already 5 guys on the team, and then their president is also an ex-Duke alum, so he said he won't be surprised if the whole entire team is full of Duke players, which of course is like a video game scenario. You just never really picture that happening in real life where all these guys on your NBA roster are from one college, which would be pretty insane, pretty cool. I think I'd have to be a fan of the Pelicans at that moment if that were to come true, but have to wait and see. Then Zion Williamson did come out saying he wants to play his whole entire career with the New Orleans Pelicans. Pretty sure a lot of guys just say that, especially when they're rookies, because that's the right thing to say. Pretty sure he's going to stay there at least 7 years when he gets that extension in his 4th year to stay a total of like 7 to 8, but probably end up leaving depending if the team hasn't been doing well or making good enough moves for him to be successful to get to the playoffs. But it's always going to be tough in the West. That's what he has to realize. Then Jalen Johnson, the small forward, that the 5-star that recently signed with Duke, is saying that he's actually trying to recruit other top talented players at his like summer games going on right now, summer tournaments that he has. He's been doing his own recruiting, which is really awesome for the Duke basketball team. Not this season, but the following season. So it's pretty awesome that he's already doing that for Coach K and everybody. They don't have to worry that much, but they did lose out on a few guys, or didn't make the final list for a couple guys going into next season, but pretty sure they'll get their own guys, especially with the help of their top prospect going into next year. So yes, a few more Trojans made the top 100 list for the NFL according to last season. So it was Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyron Smith, the offensive tackle, and then also Robert Woods, the other wide receiver with the Rams. Congrats to them. Hopefully they can continue to move up or just stay on the top 100. It's always good to see. There was 4 guys in total, Casey being in the other video I mentioned whenever that was last I uploaded that. But congrats to them. Then also the USC football did get a recruiting guy, a new guy on the defensive line named Sekona. He is a 3-star or 4-star player come out of high school, depending which area you look at for next season. So that's good. They're at least beefing up that side. He looks like a pretty big kid, and they do a lot of special things, so glad he's on the team. Then also a few little things in the NFL. Both Cedric Ware, the ex-running back for USC, has signed with the Colts. So congrats to him. Hopefully he can make the final roster. And then Ryan Khalil, the center, who's been with the Carolina Panthers out of USC for a very long time. I thought he was going to retire, but apparently he's decided to go join another ex-USC quarterback at the New York Jets in Sam Darnold. So hopefully he can maybe start for them. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't go if he didn't have an opportunity to start. So that would be pretty cool to see, and another USC connection out there. And then during the Pac-12 media days that happened, I don't remember if it was this week or last week, but they're talking to Clay Helton about him being on the hot seat. Obviously it's a pretty big question, because if he doesn't reach in my opinion, 7 to 8 wins this year, then he's probably going to be fired no matter what. But I don't know, it's tough. If they had to make a decision to let go of Clay Helton, who I really like, then they need to go after Matt Campbell, who is somehow still at Iowa State. I'm surprised he didn't jump up to another place and get hired at a higher prestige type of school, but he's definitely a diamond in the rough, and he's turning around that situation over there and made them into a contender and being able to upset some pretty talented teams while he's been there. Just him to be able to come here to LA, have the type of talent that is around there, and maybe get some of these guys to stay. The USC lost out, at least as far as we know, on 2 guys. One guy picking Texas and a running back who's really talented out of Arizona, and then another guy who's the top linebacker and probably second or third best player in high school football going into next season. And USC didn't even make his top 4, which is unbelievable, unbearable, but it's going to suck that if he goes to Oregon, I think, but hopefully he doesn't go there and stays in SEC. But at least one of the seniors and fellow guys that was recruited by Clay Helton and has had a great relationship with him, and Michael Pittman Jr., who was also there at the Pac-12 Media Days, says he has his support, and all the players are 100% behind Coach Clay Helton, which is very cool, and hopefully they can at least keep him there at least another season or 2 until Matt Campbell is ready to come to USC. That's the perfect situation I want, but hopefully Clay Helton can turn this shizzle around. So to continue more of the USC football news, so both receivers, Michael Pittman Jr. and Tyler Vaughn of USC, have made it to watch lists for preseason awards for different things, which is pretty cool for them. So congrats, hopefully they can win that at the end of the season. Then Austin Jackson, an offensive tackle for USC, had just had surgery a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, for a bone marrow transplant for his sister, which was pretty awesome that he was able to be a 100% match for her and is helping her out with her recovery, and he's recovering pretty well himself. But Clay Helton did mention last week that he was going to ease him in. They weren't going to rush him in right away just because you don't know how his body's going to react to everything. But as of right now, he is 100%, and he is at the fall camp, but he isn't going 100%, of course. Then a little bit of Kawhi news, of course, has to trickle out that he said that he was very close to picking the Lakers, which just hurts a little bit more Kawhi. And then also Magic Johnson was not a factor in his decision, even though I'm pretty sure it was, but he's just saying that because he still wants to be friends with Magic Johnson, who wouldn't. The guy freaking owns a good majority part of the Dodgers and all this stuff. He can help you out financially in your future, so of course you're not going to burn that bridge just yet. Then Carmelo Anthony a few days ago had crazy in-depth interview on First Take on ESPN about why he's not in the NBA right now, and says all this whole political stuff of why he's not in there. But I think of him saying he 1000% wants to play with LeBron is probably still going to help him, but the Lakers are going to wait to fill up their last roster spot for Andre Iguodala if he becomes available. So even if that might take the whole entire year, I think they're going to just wait for Iguodala when he becomes available from Memphis, and they might pull the trigger on Carmelo right now and then see if anybody else during their camp in like October heading into November, if some of the other guys don't really pan out, then they could still take down a roster spot and put it for Iguodala when he becomes available. But just have to wait and see. Never know what they're going to do, but it would be interesting to see Carmelo Anthony on the same team as LeBron. I'm really looking forward to that if that does happen for the Lakers. But then also, yes, the Melvin Gordon drama is still continuing. Now, at some point this week, he had requested a trade, or his agent had requested a trade to the Chargers, but Tom Telesco, the GM, said he wasn't going to trade him, and Tom Telesco is still putting out quotes out there saying that he still loves Gordon, even though they're going through this whole process. But I think if he's requesting a trade and they're about like $2 to $3 million off, which is probably not a lot to some people, but at his position for the NFL, he's probably not going to outperform his contract for the next 3 to 4 years. So you're kind of left of, no, we'll go up to this certain amount, which is $10 million I heard, which is pretty good for a running back. He's only like a couple million short of what the average is for that position in the NFL, but he just wants to go to a team that is probably going to pay him what he wants, and hopefully they have good enough talent on their team already, or they suck enough to get good draft picks for the Chargers, so that could help the Chargers out and make this trade go possible. But just gonna have to wait and see. Like I've been saying with a lot of these things, that's what the summer is all about, just waiting and seeing. And yes, football is kind of back. The first preseason game was this week on Thursday. Didn't even watch it, but saw the highlights. It was okay. I just can't wait till the regular stuff starts in fantasy football, of course. So finishing up the Chargers news and this video real quick. So 4 more Chargers made the top 100, which is really cool. The highest of them all being Phillip Rivers, which isn't surprising, but is really not as surprising to me, but I'm very proud of, is that Derwin James, the rookie safety that they drafted, number 17 overall, made it as the 31st best player, and it was his first time being on this top 100 list, which is amazing. It's the main reason why I kept not understanding why he kept sliding in the first round, and it was just perfect stuff. The team would be even more perfect if I was in control of the draft the last 2 to 3 years, but we'll get away from that. But yeah, congrats to Derwin James as well, Melvin Gordon, and Keenan Allen all making top 100, so it's great for them. Then they're saying that to let Melvin Gordon go in a trade and let Austin Eckler take control. I don't know, I see Austin Eckler as a little bit of a stronger version of a Darren Sproles, who at times worked for the Chargers when LaDainian Thompson was either injured or when they finally moved on from him. But because of their stature, they still made it to the playoffs with Darren Sproles, who's probably shorter than I am, and I'm only about 5'9", and they still went to the playoffs, at times won a first round game or a wild card game, but they could never reach farther than that. So there's obvious reasons why you need different types of running backs. Eckler could probably put up the numbers, put up the stats, and get you to the playoffs and hopefully win one game, but to constantly keep going deeper into the playoffs, I think you still need a running back by committee, and I'm pretty sure head coach knows that because he was an ex-running back himself, so pretty sure he's going to get everything situated. Then Russell Okung, the offensive tackle for the Chargers, had a little bit of a health scare. He was in the hospital and had a emergency surgery that no one really knew about until he came back for fall camp, but apparently he had kind of like the same thing that an ex-Laker Brandon Ingram had, which was something like a blood clot in his veins or something like that, but luckily they got to it before it got worse, and he should make a full recovery. Just don't know when exactly that is, and it sucks because he is the left tackle, the blind side of Phillip Rivers, which is the main important position, but maybe trading away Melvin Gordon to get a good enough tackle on the team to play that position for him would be beneficial for the Chargers, in my opinion. But they have been making some moves as far as signing and releasing some players. They did sign a defensive lineman called, his name is D. Liner, which is the perfect name for a defensive lineman because it's literally the same thing, but they did let go of the Duke tight end Daniel Helm, but they also made some more stuff like Jamar McCluster, an offensive tackle, Larry Allen Jr., another offensive tackle. They got rid of linebacker Trevion Johnson and some other guy, I forgot his name, but they made those 2 moves. And then they also made a move where they let go of uh, what are the names? Dylan Cantrell and Jordan Smallwood, I believe. They let go of those 2 wide receivers. And then they had signed Malachi Dupree and some other guy. I might have gotten some of those switched, but definitely Dylan Cantrell, an ex-Charter, they let go. And then they're waiting to see if they went through waivers, which is every single team gets an opportunity to sign them when a team releases a player. But they didn't get signed, so apparently they're back with the Chargers. But since they're on an injured reserve, it doesn't count as a roster spot just yet. So maybe those recent receivers that they did sign to replace those guys, if they do come back healthy, then those newer guys will be let go. It's a crazy way how the whole situation, roster stuff works for the NFL, especially when you have about 80 to 90 guys right now on your team everywhere in the NFL, and that has to be cut to 53 players, and you just never know who's going to be let go from somewhere else that you might like, and then have to let go of people on your team. But should be very crazy to see once preseason goes, if hopefully no injuries happen to the Chargers, but you can never stop injuries from happening and all around the league. But definitely have to keep on watch for fantasy football status. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Obviously, I'm in no part or reason to say anything official about the El Paso shooting at the Walmart. It's just horrific. It's just tough to see everything like that. I hate doing like prayers and thoughts because it's really not going to change anything. You just need to change our gun laws, and that's really all I got to say about that.